In this special 3-part report, with support from OmniID, we're bringing you the latest news and thinking from the American automotive industry. From the big three losing its place as king of the car, to the alternative fuel revolution, and an emerging industry in the southern US, the automotive world has never been so complex. Running an automotive manufacturing facility isn't getting any easier. Consumers demand newer cars and faster, and we all know what happens when companies aren't able to respond fast enough. No one needs any more reminders about the GM bailout. Despite all that, the industry is innovating faster than ever. Gasoline engines are the most efficient they've been, and hybrids are everywhere. Hyundai even announced just last week that they're launching a hydrogen-powered SUV next year. When it comes to alternative fuels, it doesn't get much better than Tesla, who has developed what CEO Elon Musk says is the safest car in history, despite a very few public battery fires caused by road debris. Add to that structural integrity, some of the best battery technology, and a growing network of charging stations, and the electric car is more appealing than ever.
The American consumer is one thing, but the rest of the world is another matter completely. Right now, automakers are trying to ramp up production to record levels to meet global demand. Drivers in BRIC countries, that's Brazil, Russia, India, and China, are demanding more vehicles than ever. A recent report from IHS suggests that this annual production could rise from about 80 million vehicles today to more than 110 million by 2020. That's not far off. And by 2020, annual sales of cars and SUVs in China will reach a staggering 30 million. Compare that to a projected 16 million in the US. Clearly, the US is losing its place as the automotive capital of the world. On top of more vehicles, these BRIC consumers want big vehicles like SUVs, while those in the US, Europe, and Japan want smaller, more fuel-efficient cars. It's enough to make one wonder if the developing world and the automotive companies are headed toward a similar situation that we saw in the US 15 or 20 years ago.
The future of manufacturing, turning your paper-labeled boxes into smart containers with ProView. Eliminate paper labels and cards on cycling containers, providing automated tracking and dynamic visual interaction with operators. This system features a rugged e-paper screen that, unlike paper, can be changed dynamically, allowing operators to receive new instructions in real time for light speed corrections and process exception handling. These smart containers become immediately traceable, enabling real-time data collection on asset flow for advanced process analytics, and real-time, accurate inventory counts are achieved with no manual counting. Find out more about ProView at OmniID.com.
In some ways, American automakers have learned about how important it is to innovate quicker than ever. The average model refresh is only 2.2 years, and that means redeveloping the vehicle roughly from the ground up. But with speed comes the risk of developing a lemon. We all remember Toyota's unintended acceleration fiasco from 2009. It shed a new light on automotive quality. And while you might think that the industry has gotten better at quality, that's really not the case. In 2012 alone, more than 16 million vehicles were recalled, with Toyota and Honda leading the list. And the situation is only going to get more difficult.
One of the biggest hurdles will be rules signed by the Obama administration in 2012. Under this rule, the average mileage of US vehicles will need to be 54.5, and the deadline is just over a decade away. In order to meet that deadline and to make the kinds of cars American drivers want, automakers are pushing efficiency, although maybe not in the way you'd expect. A report from PwC shows that 85% of automotive executives think downsizing the internal combustion engine, not going electric or hydrogen, is the best near-term way to increase efficiency. And those other technologies still fall under the industry joke of being roughly a decade away. At the same time, these companies are investing in plug-in hybrids as a stopgap, with the Chevrolet Volt and the Ford Fusion Energy joining all the Priuses out on the road today.
Unlike 20 or 30 years ago, American automotive manufacturing is absolutely not about the big three. Today, almost half the vehicles made in the US are made by foreign-owned companies like Toyota or Kia. It's probably the biggest story in all of this, so stay tuned next week as we explore that dynamic. Who reigns king of the car, Detroit or Southeast? And with that, I'm Joel Hans, managing editor of Manufacturing.NET. Join us next week where we take a look at more insights in the automotive industry.